Welcome back to another episode of High Level Wisdom. On your way in the door, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and share some with your people, man. I appreciate it. Let's get right into it. Today I want to chop it up about, the guys you keep in your circle, man. Your real friends, your crew, your people. All right. You probably have a group. Guys that you hang with, share laughs, whatever it might be, work out. You got connections. You have alliances. You have a network. But the real question is, do you have a brotherhood? See, there's a difference. And it's a big difference. And feeling that difference is what we might call the brotherhood deficit, let's just say. It's that feeling after a night out with the guys, driving home and realizing you're still carrying everything you walked in with. All the weight, all the real questions you got, all the things you actually need help with, everything that went on throughout the week that you needed to unload off of or get a real opinion from. It's the awareness that your circle is built for fun, for distraction, for passing time, but not for fortification, not for the purpose, the mission. A network asks you, what can you do for me? An alliance says, I'll have your back if you have mine. These are transactions. They have their pace. But a brotherhood operates on a different principle entirely. A brotherhood is a covenant. It says, your problem is my problem. Your victory is my victory. And your growth is essential to my own. It's not just a transaction. It's a fusion of purpose. Most men are but surrounded by the first kind, the network, the alliance, and starved for the second. And you feel that starvation is a deep personal loneliness. It's the loneliness of being in a crowd of people who know your name, but don't know your fight. Who can see your success, but don't see your fears, your pain. Who will celebrate with you, but won't confront you when you're wrong, when you're lying to yourself, when you're settling for less than you promised. This deficit has a cost. Without a brotherhood, you become the only auditor of your own life. There's no one to call you on your blind spots. No one to hand you a sword when the real enemy is at the door. No one to remind you of who you said you were going to be when you forget yourself. You end up fighting every battle, internal and external, in total isolation. And that's how good men get tired. That's how they lose wars they should have won. But the cost goes even deeper. When you face a major decision, to leave a job, to invest money, or to end a relationship or something, you only left with your own echoing thoughts. There's no second counsel to stress test your plan, to point out the risks you miss, to affirm the courage it requires. You're the general with no captains, trying to strategize in an empty war room. This isolation doesn't just make the path harder, it makes you more likely to choose the wrong path altogether, because fear and uncertainty speak loudest in a vacuum. A brotherhood fills that space with clarity and courage. And perhaps the steepest cost is your spirit. A man's character is solidified through friction and affirmation. Without brothers to mirror you and your true self back to you, you can drift off. The disciplined man, unchallenged, may become complacent. The kind man, unchecked, may become weak. The ambitious man, unguided, he can become ruthless. See, a brotherhood acts as a living, breathing conscience and a champion. It holds up the standard you've collectively strived for. So no one man's flame goes out in the wind. Building a brotherhood doesn't mean collecting more friends. It means changing an agreement with the few men who have already proven that they are trustworthy. It means having the courage to change the conversation. It means moving past sports and gossip and jokes and asking a real question. What are you building right now that's hard? What are you avoiding? And how can I help? It means being vulnerable enough to say, I don't know how to do this next part, and trusting them not to use it against you, but to roll up their sleeves and say, we got you. It means being strong enough to tell your brother the path you're on right now is leading you off a cliff, and saying it's because, man, it's out of love, bro. Not because you're judging them, because that's your homie. This is the spiritual shift. From a social circle to a sacred circle. This brotherhood becomes your personal counsel. Their collective wisdom is greater than your individual ignorance. Their combined strength is greater than your solitary weakness. They are the men who hold the standard for who you are supposed to be, when you are tempted to fall back into who you used to be. So look at your circle. Are they witnesses to your life, or are they participants in your mission? Do they just share your time, or do they share your purpose? Start building the brotherhood. It begins with one real conversation. It is nurtured by consistency and loyalty, and it is sealed by a mutual commitment to see each other not just succeed, but become great men. You were not meant to build your kingdom alone. Find a few men who will help you lay the bricks, guard the gates, and remind you of the vision when the fog rolls in. That is not a necessary luxury, but for a king, it's the most luxurious thing. It's your boy, man. I'm out.